Hello kids, I'm back again with the next part of the video, or I would say the last part of the video pertaining to chapter 3, wherein I would continue with textual exercises. Hence, without wasting much of your time, let's begin with the exercises. A. Write true or false. In this exercise, you have to read the sentences and you have to write true or false in the blanks provided. You can jot down these sentences and then you can write true or false. Let's start with number 1. The Simpsons were new to the neighborhood. Yes, as you know that they were new to the neighborhood, so this statement is true. Number 2. Mr. Simpson wanted 5 half pence to post a letter. This sentence is wrong, as Mr. Simpson did not require 5 half pence, he required only 3 half pence. So number 2 you can write false. Number 3. He wanted coppers to take out stamps from the machine. Yes, he wanted coppers means he wanted coins to take out stamps from the machine. So you can say number 3 is true. Number 4. The narrator had a variety of stamps. No, this statement is wrong. The narrator did not have a variety of stamps. In fact, he had a book of stamps. So number 4 you can write false. Now let's come to number 5. Mr. Simpson had to post the letter without stamps. Yes. Unfortunately, he could not get the stamps, so he had to post the letter without stamps. So number 5 statement is true. Number 6. The letter was an invitation for the narrator himself. Yes. At the end of the story, we got to know the letter was posted for narrator himself. So this statement is also correct. So you can write true in the statement. Or you can write true for number 6. Now let's come to the next exercise. Exercise B. Rewrite these sentences in correct sequence as they appear in the chapter. Now these sentences are jumbled up. We have to put these sentences in the correct order to frame the proper incident in the story. Now here, this sentence, Mr. and Mrs. Simpson were new to the neighborhood, can be called as number 1. The next is just below number 1. He asked the narrator for a loan of 3 half pence. You can mention this sentence as number 2. Now come to number 3. This sentence, he could not remember the direction to the post office, can be considered as number 3. Now this statement, the halfpenny stamps were exhausted in the machine. This sentence can be considered as number 4 according to the story. Next one, he dropped the letter face downward on the pavement. Yes, after not able to get stamp from the stamp machine, Mr. Simpson dropped the letter face downward on the pavement. So this incident can be number 5. Now let's come to number 6. Number 6 can be the stamp book was empty, so Mr. Simpson could not get any stamps from the narrator. This incident can be considered as number 6. Now let's come to number 7. This incident, Mr. Simpson posted the letter without the stamp, can be considered as number 7. And now we have the last one. That is, the next morning, the narrator had to pay for the letter without stamp as the invitation from the Simpson was for him. So this is the last sentence or the last incident. It can be number 8. Now kids, this exercise, answer these questions. This one has been done in the previous video, so we would not discuss about this exercise in this video. We would continue with the next exercise. Now let's begin with exercise D. Answer these questions with reference to context. Now we have to read this reference, we have to read this statement, and accordingly we have to answer all these questions. Number 1. I know I've got a book of stamps at home. Who said this to whom? Now according to the story, this statement was said by the narrator to Mr. Simpson. Question B. Who had to post the letter and why? As we all know that Mr. Simpson had to post the letter because his wife had asked him to do so. C. What was the letter about? As we know that the letter was just an invitation for dinner. Question D. Who offered to give stamps from his book and why? As we already know the answer, but however, let's discuss the answer. The narrator offered to give stamps from his book to Mr. Simpson because Mr. Simpson could not get the stamps from the stamp machine, and also the post office was also closed at that very moment. So finally the narrator offered to give him stamps from his book. Now number 2. Oh, could I do that? He asked, brightening. Who said this line? This line is said by Mr. Simpson. When the narrator suggested him that he could post the letter without stamp, then he said, oh, could I do that? B. What is being referred to as that by the speaker? Here that refers to post the letter without stamps. C. Who gave him the advice and what was it? Definitely the narrator gave him the advice, and the advice was to post the letter without stamps. Why did the speaker's face brighten up? After knowing that the letter could be posted without stamps, the speaker's face brightened up. Now number 3 is, all the way home I was wondering what it was he'd remember, but I stopped wondering next morning when I had to pay the postman 3 halfpence for an envelope with a great muddy mark on its face. Now who is he in these lines? Here he refers to Mr. Simpson. What did the speaker receive the next day? As we all know the answer, that speaker received the letter which was posted by Mr. Simpson, or I would say the speaker received the unstamped letter which was posted by Mr. Simpson. Who was the sender? Definitely Mr. Simpson was the sender. Why did he have to give 3 halfpence for the envelope? The narrator had to give 3 halfpence for the envelope because it was unstamped. How do you think the speaker felt on receiving the envelope? Now this question can have many answers. Now according to me, the speaker felt that Mr. Simpson was forgetful and absurd-minded person. You can write your own answers for this question according to your way of understanding. Now let's come to next exercise, playing with words. A. Complete these sentences by using the words given in the box. Now there are certain words in the box. We have to use these words in the following sentences. Now before using these words, let's understand the meaning of each and every word. Energize means full of energy. Elated means extremely happy. Euphoric is also means elated or a sense of great happiness. Impatient means eager, so much excited that cannot wait. Apprehensive means doubtful or full of doubts. Awed means filled with wonder and amazement. Contented means happy and satisfied. Serenity means peacefulness or tranquility. Now let's use these words in these sentences. Number 1. I was dashed when my favorite team won the basketball match. How was I feeling? We can write euphoric. I was euphoric when my favorite team won the basketball match. Number 2. They were dashed by the impressive work of art at the exhibition. How were they feeling? They were awed. Awed means they were filled with wonder and amazement by the impressive work. Impressive work means brilliant work of art at the exhibition. Now let's come to number 3. He felt dashed after having the health drink. After having the health, he felt dashed. He felt energized after having the health drink. Number 4. She was dashed while awaiting her results. How was she feeling? She was impatient or she was eager while awaiting her results. Number 5. I felt dashed about traveling overseas all by myself. You can say I felt apprehensive about traveling overseas all by myself. I was not sure. I was doubtful. Number 6. My grandparents were dashed on getting to know about my dad's promotion in office. My grandparents were elated. Elated means extremely happy on getting to know about my dad's promotion. You know what is promotion? It means when you get good hike or good post in your work, that is called promotion. Number 7. I am not dashed with my performance. I could have done better. I am not contented means I am not satisfied with my performance. I could have done better. Number 8. Yoga is a great way to experience complete serenity or tranquility. Now let's come to the next exercise. The exercise is identify the parts of speech of the underlined words in these sentences. You may use a dictionary. Now to solve this exercise, you have to use dictionary, or you can follow the video based on parts of speech and prepared by Shiva sir. That would also help you to solve these exercises. Hence, I am not going to explain you these things. Once you follow the video based on parts of speech, it would be a great way to recapitulate all the things taught to you in that video. So kindly follow that video and solve this exercise all by yourself. Now let's come to the next exercise. The exercise is underline the predicates in these sentences. Again, this topic has been taught by Shruti ma'am and Lata ma'am. So to solve this exercise, you can follow the video prepared by Lata ma'am and you can do this. You can underline the predicates in these sentences by understanding the chapter from that video and do this exercise all by yourself. Now let's come back to the next exercise, or I would say the last exercise. Complete these sentences by writing the missing subjects or predicate on your own. Now while using your own subjects or your own predicates, you can complete these sentences. Let's understand with certain examples. Dash sat under the tree. Under a tree. You can write an old man sat under a tree or a child sat under a tree. You can use any subject to complete this sentence. Number 2, the bike dash. You can say the bike was displayed in a showroom for sale, or you can create your own sentence by using your own predicates. Number 3, Suman and Amrita dash. Suman and Amrita are neighbors, or Suman and Amrita are good friends or best friends. Again, you can write any predicate to complete this sentence. Number 4, dash solve the puzzle with ease. You can write I solved the puzzle with ease, or my dad solved the puzzle with ease. You can write any subject to complete this sentence. Number 5, we dash. You can again write any predicate to complete this number 5 sentence. You can write we are best friends, we are neighbors, we are classmates, or anything else. You can also write we had great fun at the party, or we had great fun at the picnic. Any predicate can be written to complete this sentence. Number 6, dash is the largest democracy in the world. Now here definitely India would come, because India is the only country to have the largest democracy in the world. Number 7, the earth is a planet, we know that. So you can write is a planet, or you can create your own predicate to complete this sentence. Number 8, Tom and Jerry. Now you know that Tom and Jerry is a cartoon program, right? So you can write Tom and Jerry is my favorite cartoon program. Now here I conclude with this chapter, and I expect you to write down all the exercises all by yourself and stay connected to your studies. Now only this much from my part. Bye bye.